but you let me talk about this. Fine.
Yeah.
So an overseer was chosen when the interview process dredged up a man known only as Soup Can Harry. He refused to provide his legal name, which he referred to as a rank and number branded by the government.
Oh, hell. Oh, he's a sovereign citizen, dude. Let's fucking go.
And believed the government used taxes to fund Illuminati Freemason sex parties.
Hello and welcome to the BuzzFeed of podcasts, where we'll go over a listicle of the rest of the Fallout vaults. My name's James Miller. Who are you guys?
Great job introducing the show, James Miller. I'm Ethan Palmer.
Great job saving Jamie's intro to the show, Ethan Palmer. I'm Peter O'Donoghue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought we were Watch Mojo. You know they're local. They'll hire you if you have your own laptop in Montreal.
Oh.
Watch Mojo? I don't know what Watch Mojo is, so.
They're like the top 10 anime betrayals people.
Okay.
I've seen the name, but I couldn't tell you what to do.
Yeah, they're a listicle sweatshop, basically. Is pretty much what that is.
There's pretty much AIs that can do listicles these days, I think. So
yeah.
This podcast was written by an AI. We'll say. Yeah. What's the Fallout AIs? They always have interesting names.
The president was a Zax.
Yeah.
And then there's like the Protectrons.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say the Robo-Brains, but those actually have a brain inside of them. The Sentry Bots are the big military guys, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
the Robo-Brains have a real brain in them, but they are artificial intelligences. They use the brain as a processing unit, right?
Oh, is that how they work?
Yeah.
And I know the
I just did the Mechanist
scientists.
storyline in Fallout 4, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Since last time we played, I played a bunch of Fallout New Vegas, which I'd never played, and Ethan's played a bunch of Fallout 4, which he mostly hadn't played. So.
Yep. Yeah, I hadn't played almost at all.
And you've done almost 60 hours in 2 weeks, so fatherhood definitely pretty good.
I mean, that's misleading. I leave it running a lot.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm probably at like 25 hours of like game time. Probably
right,
half of what I have. I'll often just like, I'll be playing and then my daughter will start crying, so I'll pause, and then before you know it, I'm going to sleep, and it's just still like it's just pause basically.
Yeah, he can like VATS feed his daughter now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Extra limb damage when feeding my daughter.
Yeah.
Her soft little Michelin arms.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah. So
I did not go back to the Bethesda well this week personally.
Yeah.
I'm the only one, the odd man out.
I have a lot of time in Skyrim too. Let me check. Mine wouldn't be too inflated. Maybe an hour or two here or there, but I think I played most of what I played. The Elder Scrolls.
Well, that's because your daughter's old enough to feed herself, right?
Yeah. 40 hours I put in 6 days. So pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
Not bad.
With a full-time job and rating in WoW at the same time too. So very good.
Two
full-time jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
How much sleep have you gotten? And now I'm realizing it's just like, so you've got work, and then you've got 40 hours in one game, and you're rating.
I'll tell you, if you set your life up right, my friend, you have so much time for yourself. You can get full night's sleep. You can have 40 hours of video games, 40 hours of work, and time to spare. So,
all right, that's fair. Yeah. If you do amphetamines, you can do anything. There's so much time in the day.
I'm saying I sleep 8 hours minimum a night, man. I got sleep apnea. I need it.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of amphetamines, there's an Adderall shortage.
No,
like the next supply chain that's like got a little kink in it is the Adderall supply apparently. So, my ex-girlfriend used to do tons of it when she was in university.
She's part of the problem.
I like this is a good comparison actually. There's a hazelnut shortage too, and a lot of the top.
Oh my god, is there? Because like my wife has been looking for the hazelnut creamer for like weeks now, and she jokingly said like, what the fuck, is there a hazelnut shortage or something?
There has been. It's not new. There has been for a long time. You want to know why? Nutella.
Of course.
Oh yeah, I mean
Nutella.
they're 90% of the world's like hazelnut production and
Yeah.
and use, I think, or something.
So, and university students are starting to grow more hazelnuts to try and help combat the hazelnut problem. So, you know what? What else? University students like Adderall. So, I bet you university students
they're
are
gonna
going to
start making
Oh,
Adderall.
no.
They start growing Adderall.
Adderall.
Yeah.
They have their little Adderall bushes, and they're gonna pluck them at harvest time under the harvest moon, and fill their prescription cornucopias up, and
Yeah.
present them on the table for Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Adderall would grow in like a pea pod, right? Like every individual pea would be like a
A little
pill
capsule
of
in
Adderall.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you have to harvest them one at a time, so it makes it really hard to not like take an Adderall to help you with the task. But
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do Adderall raw.
If you know a lot about Adderall, it used to have, it used to be able to just be like a pill that was pressed, but now they put it into tiny little balls inside of that capsule, mixed with other things, so to prevent people from crushing up and snorting it as easy. And that's,
I mean, if you
it's a
do
plant's
one
defense. It's a plant's defense. It kind of evolved
Yeah.
that way. Yeah.
if you do one Adderall,
that's
you
the
can
pea in
definitely
the pea
focus
pod, right?
to separate it, right?
Well, yeah, there's ways to do it. I think like one of the powders is orange and one of the powders is white, and you can crush it up and separate it if you're really meticulous. But that's someone that I knew in university who is really into it.
that sounds like they were very into their ADD medication.
Yeah. They were very passionate about their health.
Don't do Adderall, listeners.
All right, so let's skip on to the vaults. So we did up to Vault 87 last time. We're going to pick up at 88 this time. Ethan and I both coming back with a little bit more experience. I wrote this like 3 weeks ago, so I'm going to catch up.
Was 87 the? I think you do 87 in the main story in Fallout 4. It's the rich people being subjected to like poor people living standards or whatever. It's like all the high functioning dignitaries, and they just like jam into a vault, and it's like all the toilets are just like they're like separated by like a shower curtain instead of like proper stalls, and like I don't it was 87 or it was 114. Maybe we'll get to it today.
Yeah, we should get to it today because I don't remember that one talking about it yet. Vault 87 was in Fallout 3, and it was a secondary research. It was basically super mutant testing.
Oh yeah. So you do go there in the Fallout 3 quest to get the Gek, right?
Yeah,
And it's where you find Fox.
Yeah, and they eventually the super mutants take over the vaults. We talked a little bit about like the both male and female subjects become asexual at first. Males get stronger upper body, females get thicker skin. And after about 10 days.
I'm thinking of Vault 81, which was they were like spraying them with like hidden spray nozzles of different diseases, and then like trying out like the vaccines and stuff on them. There's like Vault 81 was like there's a built vault, and there's like a secret vault attached to it that was full of like Vault-Tec scientists who were just like experimenting on the population in Vault 81.
Okay. And that's the mole rats, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
you get a permanent disease, which like I didn't realize, and I was just like, yeah, sure, give the kid who's sick the medicine I went to go get or whatever, and then I'm like walking around, I just have like the permanent little like debuff like indicator on my screen. I'm like, what is that? And I like check my status. It's like permanent minus 10 HP debuff, and there's literally no other cure in the game. I was like, okay, I guess it's not a big like 10 HP. Like as soon as you get to like if you're above level 10, it's not such a big deal, honestly.
Yeah. No good deed goes unpunished, dude.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, like you go through, and you can do the quest without getting the disease. You just have to never get bit by a mole rat. Like they can't hit you essentially ever, or you contract the disease, and you go through the vault. You find like the vaccine, and there's a companion that comes with it, Curie, and you then you have
Curie's
this dialogue.
She's the robot, right?
Yeah, well, she's like a Mr. Handy model robot, and then there's another quest line where you like put her into a synth body, and she becomes like a companion,
right?
Or she always was a companion, but now she's like a synth, like human-looking companion, I guess.
Okay.
But you get to the end, and you're like talking to the doctor, and I was like, I read like all the terminals, and like because it was like an interesting vault and everything, but I clearly wasn't paying attention to like my own status effect, because you get to the end and you're talking to the doctor, and it's like your dialogue options are like, yeah, sure, give him the vaccine. No, I'm keeping it, or like let's split it. And I'm like, what the fuck would I care if I split it? Just give him the vaccine, whatever. Like, give him the vaccine, and it's like, oh, I was saying that because I was diseased, and there was no like dialogue that ever mentions it. It's just like a very small pop up on the side of your screen, I assume, that says like you've contracted this. And like never is it ever mentioned. Like nobody says like, oh, you got bit, you seem to be sick as well. Just like talking on Fallout 4's shortcomings in the dialogue department. It was just like, why is my character offering to say this? It doesn't make any fucking sense. But it's like, oh no, didn't you check your status conditions before engaging into a dialogue? You fool.
Yeah. I think that one too, like it was originally a bunch of scientists coming up with a cure for this disease, and then the scientists get locked in, like just the scientists, and they basically live out their life there developing a cure, and they die, and the cure's developed, and they give it to Curie or Kiri, the robot, and she just waits at the door for commands. She's like, I have the cure. Now the humans will tell me what to do with the cure, surely. And she just waits there. And I guess until you show up, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, you let her out. And you have you let her out. And she does like, you must work for Vault-Tec. That's the only reason you would be here. Kind of like robot logic or whatever.
Oh, of course.
So like, I can accept commands from any Vault-Tec employee. Yeah. And then you basically just say like, yeah, you can leave. And then she won't leave. And if you can just like walk away and just like, you take the cure, and then you can just like leave the vault, and she'll just stay in that room, even though the door's open now, just because nobody's told her that she can.
There's no sarcastic "Genie, I wish for you to be free" dialogue option.
There is a sarcastic option. I couldn't tell you what it is, but there's always a sarcastic option.
Is Curie voiced by Robin Williams? Just doing a bunch of improv.
Right. So let's hop in Vault 88, our first vault of the day. That was where we left off the last time. So this one is in Fallout 4, Vault 88. It's northwest of Quincy, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Nice try.
It's a testing facility for experimental productivity boosting equipment to be used in other vaults. So
it's the Adderall vault.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I love it when a bit comes together.
Yeah, it's the Adderall vault. They also do other product like boosting things, like installing thumbtacks into your beds, because we can't have people sleeping.
Can't sleep too much or too comfortably, right?
Yeah,
or you wake up.
All the public benches are slanted, so the homeless can't sleep on them. Yeah. Yeah.
I love a good over the top satire of real world capitalism, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just making these up.
The like something is just like, oh yeah, hey babe, do you want to go sit and hold hands on the like the She-Hulk attorney at law anti-homelessness bench? They like taken out they painted the back as an ad for She-Hulk, and it had like the studded rods in the middle there.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, so this vault was never actually completed because I guess they didn't have enough Adderall to get it done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But Overseer Valerie Barstow becomes a ghoul and recruits the sole survivor to help complete the vault's experiments. So the quest in Fallout 4, you open up other sections of the vault after a raider encounter. One to look forward to.
I don't remember this one at all.
Did you do every single vault in the game?
I think so. I mean, despite my misgivings with Fallout 4, I feel like I discovered every location. Maybe not this one, yeah.
That's like so much time in a Bethesda game. Like I don't think I've discovered every location in Skyrim at this point. I'm sure like I could play and just like randomly stumble across like one thing, be like, oh, I've never seen this before, like
yeah, and it's
probably few and far between for Skyrim anyway at this point. But
yeah.
Vault 92 in Fallout 3 is up next. This is in Olney, Maryland.
OnlyFans.
Only. Yeah. It's the world's best performers were invited to Vault 92, but they're musicians.
Oh, this one. This is the musician one where they just bombard them with white noise till they go fucking crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they bring in the people with the best ears in the world to preserve musical talent is like the goal. So you bring in all these like hoity-toity musicians, and instead of having them write down their best songs, they just blast white noise into their ears. And
This is part of Agatha's song, right?
yeah, didn't they do that in a prison, Baby Shark?
Yeah, they got slammed online, and I'm sure no repercussions were had for the security guards who did it. But.
Yeah, but they've been doing that again, like no consequence. Like Guantanamo, they do that all the time.
Waco, Texas, I think they did to them.
Don't say Guantanamo. They do it like that's just like they do it in Guantanamo. It's totally
they
fine.
invented it there. Yeah,
it's fine. They're doing it in Guantanamo. That's a government facility. It's clearly fine if they do it.
I trust them.
Yeah.
They did it at Waco too with the Branch Davidians.
Yeah.
It's a government facility, so they play like I'm proud to be an American, but at least I know I'm free. But for like a week straight, I'd proudly stand up. Sound of a gunshot in the mouth. Yeah,
That's pretty good. You have to go get a Stradivarius violin from this vault, right? For Agatha, the old lady.
I didn't write it down. That's if you remember.
I think because I know Agatha's song. You can like unlock a new radio station if you get the last surviving violin for an old lady, and then she plays just plays classical music on the radio.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Me not knowing, like, I don't recognize that from Fallout 4, but like Fallout 3, I'm like, I know exactly why you go there because that's a game I got 1,000 hours in.
By the time you go there, it's infested with bloat flies and mirelurks. And all the musicians are dead because they killed each other because of all the white noise. They just went crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Bees love music. That's why it's full of bloat flies.
Do bees love music? Oh, they dance to communicate, so that would make sense.
Yeah, they got a little bit of rhythm.
Yeah.
I love. I know we've talked about it before. It's something I'd love to cover one day, but I want to rewatch the show. Venture Brothers, like some of their goofy ass villains.
Yeah.
One
Brick
of them,
Frog.
Brick Frog. Yeah. One of them is White Noise, and he is like a white supremacist cable repairman who, in an accident, his entire body just turned into white noise. So he's just like the silhouette of a guy in a prison jumpsuit, and he's just all TV static.
Thank God he's a white noise as a supremacist. He wouldn't be able to handle himself as
any other color of noise.
Yeah, brown noise or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, the brown note.
Yeah. So next up, we are going to Vault 94 in Fallout 76, the worst game.
Yeah, that's something we can all agree.
Yeah.
We've had different takes on Fallout 4 in the past, but having never played Fallout 76, it's the one I have the least interest in.
Yeah,
hard not recommend. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, I'll say the one good thing going for it is the same thing that, from my point of view, ESO has going for it. Even though Jamie, I know you like ESO, whereas you don't necessarily like 76. It's just that it's expanding on like these worlds, and like ESO did it in such like. To such an extent, like there's so many zones, there's so much lore that they did like kind of just like canonize based on those games. And they seem to, the lore that I've seen of ESO, at least, Jamie's done most of the research on 76 in these 2 episodes. But for the ESO, most of the lore that I've read, it does seem to be like in line with like the quality and, style of the other Elder Scrolls games. So I'm not sure if they have like advisors from like source advisors or something like that working on it with them, but
in ESO they never said anything but we're going to be an MMO. Like they delivered on what they wanted to be, and they're a fine MMO, but I don't know, Fallout 76 just failed on what they wanted to deliver. I can see it being fun, like if all of us had it instantly downloaded and all hopped into a game together and there was no trouble finding each other in the world and we could just embark into the world together. But I'm absolutely sure that if we all got the game, it wouldn't work out that easy. It would be like hard to find each
I
other.
have it on Game Pass, and your guys are going to have it on fucking Steam, and there's probably different servers, and it's just like some stupid bullshit like that, right?
Yeah. But yeah, no, 76 is not great. I
like it. That's fine out there. Listen,
I found out, by the way, we covered Vault 76 the last time, but Vault 76 had about enough room for 500 people in it, which is probably about what the peak people playing it at any given time is. So those 500 people who left the vault to set up the new world are accounted for.
It's in canon with the lore. Actually, it's not underpopulated. It's not a dead game. It's lore accurate.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So Fallout 76. We weren't talking about the Vault 76. So we're talking about Vault 94. You can find this vault north of Dolly Sod's Wilderness in West Virginia. And it's a social experiment testing the viability of pacifist belief systems in post-apocalyptic conditions.
Okay.
So all inhabitants are non-violent religious community people, and
And they're butchered like hogs by a neighboring vault where we were experimenting with different beliefs, is what I'm assuming happened here, right?
yeah,
I like to think that they maybe turned on each other and eventually just, committed those horrible, horrible things against each other, and just proves that pacifism doesn't work when faced with just any other group or community.
So I'm looking at what actually happened now. I actually forgot what happened to this one because I didn't play it. So eventually, Wastelanders started trying to get in, and Vault Tech was like, "Hey, people, pick up a gun or something, just for safety purposes. Grab a gun. If someone attacks you, don't attack first or whatever, but self-defense kind of thing." And all the people. Yeah, the pacifism was ignored, or the advice was ignored. Pacifism was preserved. And paranoid outsiders gained access to the Gek wing with little resistance from the pacifists. And they thought the Gek was a mind control device or machine. And the Gek is just like to set up the Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden creation kit.
Yeah. This is what you use to set up a new town after Fallout. So all the Wastelanders open fire onto the Gek unit, and since it's a nuclear,
tweaked out on Adderall and Jet.
yeah, open fire on the thing that would give them a place to live, and it resulted in a level 6 nuclear explosion with 7.8k rad a second. So there's a bunch of mutations if you go there, bunch of mutants and a lot of rad. So
A bunch of hippies should have just picked up a fucking gun.
Yep, and that's the lesson for this one today.
I
guys.
didn't know that the Geks were like briefcase-sized nukes either. I mean, it makes sense. Like everything is vacuum
everything
material.
Everything's nuclear, so
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all. Like, that's the magic in the Fallout world is like nuclear power can do literally anything, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
it doesn't do a lot of the regular stuff like the internet that we enjoy, or like high definition TVs or color TVs, even 70 years into the future. But it can just make magic. So
I always imagine the Gek as like, like the salesman briefcase that has like the little folding out drawers on the little arms, like a tackle box kind of. I always imagine that with like a little like flip up chemistry set with like the rod with the little electricity goes up, and like just like eyedroppers that you can start terraforming with. Like I never really in my head, because I've never seen one open in game, and it's the size of a fucking briefcase. So I always imagine just like, like 2 seeds in a little drawer in a little compartment. And like
I always
animals.
pictured it as as like a life raft. Like it's a little suitcase, but you pull forward, and then it just like unfolds into like a
just verdant soil.
Town. Yeah,
Yeah, and like
a functioning town with farmland and pasture. Like,
Las Vegas, just like, or New Vegas, just like completely unfolds.
Deployable Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But it's still like bouncy castle textures, right? So you've got like inflatable like hookers on the street in New Vegas, just like kind of like shaking in the wind a little bit as they inflate.
The future is here. So Vault 95 we're on to, and that's Fallout 4. This is southeast of Natick, Natick, Massachusetts. So this is they took a bunch of addicts.
Adderall addicts.
Yes.
Man, it's really usable, this Adderall shortage in our episode.
Yeah, I'm glad I read that headline and not the article 3 days ago.
So it's a social and medical experiment. They take addicts to an experimental rehabilitation center, which is a vault, and they're encouraged to remain clean. So they keep them all clean for 5 years. Everything goes great, and then they open a secret door filled with chems after 5 years of sobriety.
Lovely.
Inhabitants initially recover from the addictions. Like I said, everything goes well, but as soon as they find out about that secret stash, everything goes fucking crazy.
5 years seems like a long time, though. I wonder if like some people could resist after 5 years, or if it's just like a switch, just like instant return to junkie.
Yeah, I mean, people.
if you're struggling with addiction, do seek help. Like I think for a lot of people, it is like it's a lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, if you're actually predisposed to it, like Peter, you quit drinking for a month, and then you still kind of feel like you still feel the call to have a beer or whatever, right? And then once you have one, it's really easy to have a second one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So like, it's it's genetic for a lot of people, and,
Yep.
and like it's not as easy as just stop doing it for a little bit and you'll be fine.
It's not. Yeah, addiction's real. Not like depression. Just stop.
Yeah, like the mantra for a lot of longtime addicts is like, I'm not going to drink today, and that still is true 10 years later as it was like a month later. But...
Yeah. I remember my dad quit smoking. He thought about smoking for years and years and years afterwards.
Yeah.
And plus, you're locked in a vault with nothing to do, and you've been clean for 5 years, and all of a sudden, hey, and not only are you the only addict, like everyone's an addict too. Although they're gonna take it from me,
They're gonna get it first. They're not gonna leave. There's not gonna be any left.
Yeah. So some actually realized that the situation was intentional, and they recorded their anger about being deceived and stuff.
Well, I mean, you don't accidentally like leave a bunch of heroin in a false wall in a rehab center. Like that's definitely deliberate.
Yeah.
I'm
Eventually,
surprised they didn't find it first. Do you think they'd be like knocking on the walls looking for copper wire, like old habits, right? And then they find like the whatever, like the 12-step program book that's actually just like the false. It's the trigger to open the false wall, right?
They're going through the lockers, and it's like, who's this guy, Bill Williams? Never seen him before,
Like Apu's the Apu's alcohol-free beer fridge in the
exactly.
It's just painted on. It's a staircase up to the roof.
What if somebody wants alcohol-free beer? Never come up.
Yeah. So eventually the gunners take over this. By the time you get there, the addicts have kind of destroyed themselves or left by the time you see it. But you go in, you see all the gunners. You can shoot your way through there. And read
the gunners being a faction of like mercenaries for hire, basically.
Yeah, right.
Who
people like not raiders. They have like a bit more rules than just like your average raider band, but they're people smugglers and
they're into jet and stuff themselves too, right? Like
for sure, yeah. They're raiders with a minor polish, basically.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Rip fuel is something the Marines use, like in Iraq. Which is again like a study drug. So like the fact that the gunners are into amphetamine use is totally tracks.
Amphetamines were invented for the Blitzkrieg, right?
That's
how the Blitzkrieg worked, is because they gave them all meth and they were able to march for 3 days straight without sleeping. Like
pretty
it's
crazy.
the only way it could have worked. Yeah.
There's like a story of like, I don't know if it's a German or a Russian dude who ends up taking something like 40 times the dose of amphetamine and like getting from like way behind enemy lines all the way home just on this like crazy speed trip. But I have to look that one up. That could be a fun story for another day.
That could be a fun episode.
Yeah.
I think there's a dollop on him. But...
Yeah. It sounds right. I might have heard it there actually.
Do you think the guy who like announced the victory of the battle when he ran a marathon and dropped dead, was he using like ancient Roman amphetamines or whatever? Or ancient Greek amphetamines?
Cool. All right, so that was Vault 95, the Addict Vault. Now we're on to Vault 96 from Fallout 76. This is south of Spruce Knob Campground, West Virginia, for those who play.
I'll show you a Spruce Knob, baby.
Yeah. It's right by the Savage Divide in Appalachia. So it's a research facility intended to monitor and study mutated wildlife. So there's genetic engineering used to develop anti-mutant countermeasures. There's only 5 staff individuals there.
Okay.
And it's an arc for an atomic age. So they're trying to just make it so after the bombs drop, we can still have our animals.
Okay.
So there's animals in the vault?
Approximately 10,000 animals in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big fucking vault.
No, it's you got cows, pigs, chickens,
and then just ants,
dogs, cats, and then 900 different types of ants, basically.
Yeah, honestly, that might be right with how many ants there are in the world.
There's more than 900.
You know what?
Wait. Well, I mean, Lore Boy's canon. Careful.
I'm saying proportionate to one cow, though. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. Like,
So ants have evolved from Vespoid wasp ancestors in the Cretaceous periods. More than 13,800 of an estimated total 22,000 species have been classified. So estimated 22,000 different species of ants. Just ants.
So we can, yeah, this wouldn't even cover half the ants.
Not even half the ants.
Yeah.
Well, then what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we doing this for?
Yeah.
Is that like I assume that's not the twist because we're cleverer than the writers at Bethesda or ZeniMax or whoever wrote Fallout 76. But that'd be a good twist. It's just like, yeah, you like lure on these like scientists, just like, yeah, we're gonna save like all the most important animal species or whatever, and it's just like different types of like flies or whatever. Because like ants are even more interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like wasps. Maybe it's just stinging insects.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we're gonna save all these different breeds of mosquito.
That's a very Fallout quest, though, because that is like a goofy ass twist where you'd fight your way through hordes of mutated insects, right?
Yeah.
Then you'd get to the terminal or the robot, like the robot concierge that's still there, so he can give you the lore dump as to what's happened.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, well, it's just the guy who set up this vault just fucking loved bees, and like, and that's why it's the literal honeypot vault, right? Like,
yeah, you guys should write for Fallout because that's more interesting. I think what they're trying to do here is probably explain why there's animals in Fallout 76 so early after the bombs dropped, because there's automated security measures that have these 5 people working around the clock for the arc of the atomic age, and then if they don't meet their quotas, there's just like really intense punishments. So the 5 people who worked there sabotaged the security systems and escaped, but they actually failed and were killed on the way out. But the test subjects for the arc for the arc for the atomic age, they all actually did manage to escape. So any animal you meet in the game either survived the bombs dropped or came from Vault 96 and Vault 76. Yeah,
I love how they felt the need to explain that. Well, no, why would there be animals, right?
Yeah. In Horizon Zero Dawn, they explain that too, actually. There's only like 5 types of animals, and there's
but in Zero Dawn, the world is populated by fucking machine dinosaurs. So the explanation does have to serve. That serves a much better purpose. It's just like, why are there deer in Virginia? Like,
after bombs drop. I don't know. I think it is important to say.
Like it's yes and no. I do think like to some degree the animals would be more resilient because like they can already survive without supermarkets, right? Like, or supply chains. Like, so I think it would be just really easy to be like, yeah, I don't know, the cows just kept eating grass. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like some of them lived and they just kept eating grass. That's how it happened, you know? Like,
every animal, and including our ancestors, survived the extinction of the dinosaurs where the sun was blocked out and like a chunk of the atmosphere was on fire. Like, it's not unrealistic.
I haven't played Fallout 76, and my plot hole that I'd feel like I want to fix is I'm going to assume there's no surviving humans in Fallout 76, right? Like there's none that weren't in a vault that are still around. And so they're like, well, if just like the bombs dropping actually just killed, like it's a year later, right? Or 25 years later, or it's not long.
We're the first ones out.
I know. Yeah. But it's not that much longer.
No, yeah.
It's not that long since the bombs dropped that these people are like coming out. So the fact that you don't find any other humans is like, well, why would you find animals and not humans, right?
Yeah.
Either way, I'm with Peter. I think it's easier to just be like, yeah, some of them fucking lived, or just don't bring it up. You know what I mean? Let people on Reddit post angrily about how it doesn't make any sense, and just don't go on Reddit and read it.
And people would have been
people would have enjoyed of any kind. That's a good piece of advice. Just don't read criticism of your own work.
That's what happened to Westworld. People guessed the plot twist, so they changed season 2 and 3, and now HBO's canceling it because it sucks.
That's lost. That's also lost, right? Like,
really,
Lost, everyone guessed like they're like setting it up like, oh, what's it going to be? And everybody season 1 was like, well, it's purgatory, right? And then they just like they didn't change the plot, but they worked so hard to like shoehorn in all these other scenarios that made it seem like it wasn't purgatory,
right? Yeah,
it was like at the end, it's like, yeah, no, it was purgatory, and everybody's like, yeah, we knew, like it was interesting, you know. Like, Lost did the same thing.
Yeah. And you know what? People probably would have liked Vault 70 or 96 better as just a crazy bee guy, where you had to kill all his bees to get through, and then find out that you killed all the last bees in the world or something like
It'd
that.
just be Bobby LeBear's just by himself with all his fucking bees.
Get to the end and it's freaking Psycho Mantis. Like,
Yeah, that would have been more fun, but we didn't get that.
Pain. Fallout 76 is in 2102. I had to Google that because I had no idea. So
Okay.
it's 25 years. It's 25 years.
We're about halfway through the end of the canon vaults, and we're about to jump into the hundreds. So going to Vault 101 next. So I think it's a good time.
Can we do Vault 100 before we go? Before we go to the break, please,
There
please, Jamie. I don't want to wait for Christmas.
I'll look if it exists, but there's Vaults 100 is not an actual vault in the game. It was one in Fallout 3. Its location would have been unknown because it was cut during development, and it was only an unused inventory icon for its jumpsuit remains in the game files. So I had to go off script for that one, but here you go. We'll come back.
Maybe
with
that's
101.
where we got our bee guy.
Could be.
The beekeeper vault is Vault 100.
All right, I'll see you guys after.
Bye.
Right.
Have a nice break.
Hello, welcome back from the break. Us being
Your
very
Robin Williams impression.
Hello, ho ho. It's a break. Ho
It's me. I'm Curie, robot at the bottom of the vault. Oh, like a high.
So
look at me. I can't make any judgments. I'm a robot.
So, us being very, very good podcasters, forgot to shout out our new patrons at the start. So, Pete, do you have them?
See,
Very sorry about this here.
Jamie's not used to doing multi-parters, and so we normally will write a reminder at the top of our script, right?
Yeah.
But Jamie, this multi-parter was literally just Jamie getting halfway through his script last week and being like, or a quarter way through his script last week, and us being halfway through the episode, and him being like, well, let's just cut it off. You know what I mean? Let's make it a two-parter essentially. So I'm gonna guess he didn't think to go back and splice in a reminder to do the patrons.
I honestly don't think about doing that stuff a lot. I count on my brain or one of you guys to catch it, and look where that got us. So
yeah, I always write it in because I'm always gonna forget.
Yeah.
but yeah, you relied on us and we fucked up. You're right, Jamie. I am sorry. But yeah, shout out and thank you to Jacob Berger, Cameron Brown, and Maxwell Thomas for joining Patreon this week.
Continuing
another
the trend
batch of good names.
Of great names in the Patreon. Honestly,
Yeah.
if you guys want to join the Patreon, patreon.com/theloreboys, and maybe we'll remember to call you.
Only if your name's cool though. If you're like a John Smith or something like that, maybe just keep your $3 to yourself. Frankly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some,
What
like,
I want is
James
I want
Miller
another like I want a Stockwell Day or like what's there's some guy who's like
Chester Haverfield. You know?
yeah Dick Wolf. What's he
Wolf's a
doing?
good one.
Is Law and Order still on?
Yeah. What's Dick Wolf doing, and why isn't he subscribing to the Lore Boys page?
When is that gonna happen? Okay. Vault 101. This is Fallout 3.
This is
Your,
where you
it's your home vault, baby.
This is where you learn to do vault, right?
Yeah.
It was a social experiment which overseers were granted unlimited authority over a vault intended to remain closed indefinitely. But overseer Alphonse Almodovar,
That's his name?
Alphonse Almodovar,
Okay.
eventually began to
I think it's pronounced Alfonsi.
Alphonse Almodovar.
Hey.
He goes up in the vault that's shut forever, and he kicks it, and it
Kicks the door.
Yeah, and it wheels open. Yeah. He sends secret scouting parties into the surrounding wasteland, recruits an outsider, James, as a doctor, and then the vault eventually falls into civil war after James and the Lone Wanderer escape. So,
Yeah, James is your dad, right?
Yeah.
Like that's Liam Neeson in the game. Yeah.
Yep. So that's Vault 101 and Fallout 3 where you start out.
He comes to the vault after your character's born. Like you're born in Rivet City on the aircraft carrier, I think. Because the I can't remember her name, but the doctor lady is there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think you weren't actually born in the vault, but you were brought there
Yeah.
And then like as you're growing up, you're like, wait, my dad left. How did he leave? Nobody can leave the vault. And then you find out later,
Yeah.
that
That
was
Alfonsi
one
kicked the door open. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I love how the first second of that game you hear like a squish and there's blood on the screen because you are a first person baby simulator.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre.
Oh,
And
I know if you-
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I know if you use mods, you can detach the camera from the baby section, and what you are is actually just playing your adult character self, but very tiny.
Very small.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was a kid. I love the speaking of mods, there's a great Robaz YouTube video where you just start the game with a 44 Magnum and you're just a baby and you literally start the game with the 44 Magnum, so you're just the baby and you're walking around with your 44 Magnum.
Can you shoot Butch when he spits on your when he's like bullying you?
Yeah,
at your
you can
birthday
just
party?
like you blow him away like at your birthday party or whatever.
Lighten up your 10th birthday party.
Right. I forgot the beginning of Fallout 3 is like you start as a kid and like the way you live your childhood is your personality slash.
I can't believe we're
build.
blowing past it without talking about the Capital Wasteland's deadliest gang, the Tunnel Snake. Honestly,
Tunnel snakes rule.
Tunnel Snakes rule. It's just like the 50s greaser gang that's like taking up residence down there.
I love that.
Yeah.
I fucking love that game so much. If I knew I wouldn't just play 12 hours and just be like, I'm done, I would install that after this episode, but I'm like, no, I'll play Horizon, I'll play Proteus, like I'll play new shit that I haven't beaten 1,000 times. Like,
Yeah. I got Fallout 4 because it was on sale for $13, the game of the year with all the DLC or whatever.
Far Harbor rules.
And while I was installing, I was like looking at my Steam library. I was like, I have fucking Dragon Age Inquisition installed. That I don't know when I bought it. I bought it on some sale or like got it for hugely discounted for sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never played it. Like I've never booted the game, but it's like it's installed, it's on my PC, and it's just like waiting there. I'm sure I'll have a fine time with it. Like I am having with Fallout 4, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll enjoy the story and the world building enough to get through whatever the gameplay mechanics are, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sounds fine. Yeah.
Inquisition, you have to play it as fast as possible because the story is fucking fantastic, but that is an MMO with no people in it. Like, I don't know. It feels like they got to a certain point and they're like, this MMO blows, guys, and they just stripped out all the multiplayer, but didn't shrink the map at all.
We had this conversation back in like the BioShock episode when we used to talk about what we did before, and when I think I was playing Inquisition, and the whole thing was like, yeah, go kill 10 chickens, come back. That's a side quest.
Yeah.
But the main quest is good, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like the warrior pope, and someone is asking me to like help with their farm equipment. Like, I don't understand what the hell's going on here.
Yeah, I bought Fallout 4 as well. I bought it in a bundle with Skyrim, and I've owned them on PlayStation forever, and now it's time to revisit them on PC, I guess. All right, so Vault 106, you can find this in Fallout 3, but also in the Fallout Bible.
Ooh.
Yeah. So northeastern Virginia in the Capital Wasteland. And it's a medical experiment studying the psychoactive drugs that are released via air filtration systems.
Vault-Tec really does love its doing an experiment on people through the air ducts.
Yeah.
Like it's like the baseline of a vault is just like what do they put in the air?
Yeah, what's the HVAC system like?
Yeah.
Fucking HVAC down there? And we can work with it. All right.
Yeah. So there's basically, like everything else, they go and kill a bunch of violence erupts after the drugs happen, and they pretty much all kill each other. The drugs are still in the air supply for 200 years, so anyone who goes in will still have some psychoactive effects. I guess maybe you can do that in Fallout 3.
Yeah, I think you go in there and you hallucinate enemies as your dad, and you like kill your dad a bunch of times.
Okay.
I think.
If you near the entrance is a cave filled with skeletons and a mini nuke, so this suggests that the survivors were trying to blast outwards, but all died before then.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's fun. Everybody died. On to Fallout 108, Vault 108. This one's also in Fallout 3. It's a social experiment studying leadership conflicts. So most management positions were to be filled by civilian overseers, and the power systems were designed to fail after 20 years. And there's no entertainment. Armory had triple the standard ordnance in it. And in addition, the vault also had a cloning device. So They've got a bunch of failed power. Anyone who leads, they're going to fail after 20 years. There's nothing to entertain themselves, and they have triple the firepower and a cloning device. So fun.
Just having some fun with it.
Yeah. And this one, you might remember because it's a pretty memorable one because of the cloning.
Oh, it's Gary.
This is the Gary one.
Gary. Yeah, it's Gary.
Ha ha ha, Gary.
Yeah, so there's for those of you who've played the game, you'd recognize this one because by the time you get there, it's just a vault filled with Garys. But like before that, there's a holotape in the cloning lab. They're trying to. It describes their efforts to clone a man repetitively. That every time the man Gary was cloned, he immediately became hostile to non-clones, with each one becoming more violent. So after the 53rd was no different, the staff began to wonder what to do with all the clones. Now we've got 53 Garys.
53 Garys with beer on the wall. 53 Garys with beer. We take one down, we pass it around. 53 Garys with beer on the wall.
Yeah. And then shortly thereafter, they had Gary 54, with even more aggression. And this time he injured the doctor, Dr. Peterson, during examination. And the entry also...
we need to clone more Garys. I need to create the perfect man.
Yeah, I do. Dr. Peterson.
He's just like, you've got his holotape where he's like crying. He's just like, and I tried to make the perfect Gary.
The paragon of the Gary. Nothing you woke leftist liberals will take from me, another Gary.
Got my cage of rats.
This Gary appears to have autism, which is a sign of hypermasculinity because of the extra testosterone in the womb.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something he actually said. He believes that autism is hypermasculinity. But, anyways,
I do love that you said they get to 53, and it was after 53 that they're starting to say, "What do we do with all these 53 extra mouths to feed?"
Yeah,
and then it's literally the 54th one that ends up like injuring the only doctor on board. Right?
Yeah. So then after injuring Dr. Peterson, he said, well, it's come to light that we must destroy some of the Garys.
That's gonna be his next controversy. Now that he's gone completely crazy after his Russian coma, he's threatened to kill all the Garys.
Yeah. Woke moralists.
On Joe Rogan in his bow tie talking about killing Garys.
Yeah. So they say they're going to start killing all the Garys to make room for many more tests. This is all we know. So by the time we get there, there's a bunch of fucking Garys. They could have killed half the Garys and made 54 more Garys. At this point, we don't know. But Jordan Peterson...
Asimov's law of Garys, right? Where it's just like they tried to kill the Garys, but the Garys had to defend themselves unless it was to harm a human or something.
Yeah.
The Garys had to defend themselves unless they were overweight women on the internet.
Yeah. So the Garys, by the time you get there, it's a very memorable vault if you go back and play Fallout 3. They're like...
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of guys saying Gary trying to beat you to death with tire irons. Like...
They're like not even that hard to beat either, too. Like it's just like Gary running at you and you can just like shoot him in the head and he's dead, but
yeah.
Shoot him in the head and he's dead.
Yeah.
Do you think like the Garys resorted to like Gary cannibalism?
Could be. It could, yeah.
I only eat Gary meat. And now I wake up in the morning, all of my anxieties gone.
Oh my god. That guy is just my favorite guy to hate, man.
It's such a good time.
He's easy to hate.
Yeah. All right.
And it's a cartoon on top of it. It's even better.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So Vault 111, Fallout 4. This is the Fallout 4 vault that you get to experience. It's a medical experiment studying long-term effects on cryogenic stasis on unwitting subjects. So
this is the Lone Wanderers or the Soul Survivors vault in 4.
Yeah.
Can I just say, sorry, I've been going through the vaults kind of alongside you or whatever, and Vault 109 is from the Fallout board game, which is cool. I didn't know they had a board game, so now I'm googling the Fallout board game.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it's a board game that you can play solo, which is got me very interested because I live in the middle of nowhere and it's hard to get people out for a board game.
Yeah.
But
It's a high-class fancy vault filled with products from Mary May Ticknor and Fields and Fallon's. And Inhabitants had trade with Vault 84, but he died in the facility after it became flooded with radiation. So it's Fallout the board game. There's a couple there from Fallout. The board
if
game.
you look at like the board game token, it looks like a nuke was dropped fell on top of the vault essentially. So I guess it's like outside is completely irradiated, and then also like some ends up like leaking in through like the vault doesn't actually withstand a bomb.
I have all the vaults. I just only included the ones that are in the game, but I'm happy to jump to other ones too.
I'm kind of just going through them. Like I'm on the fandom wiki, and I'm just using like the URL slug, and it's like fallout.fandom.com/wiki/vault_ and then it's the number, so I'm just incrementing the number as we go kind of thing. And I tried 109 just to see if there was one.
Nice.
In between,
And it came up.
I found that. And then I just thought I'd call out that there's a board game. If any of our listeners have played the board game, let me know if it's any
let
good.
us know, yeah.
It's got a mix of reviews online is what I'm saying. We'll see if I get it.
Yeah. Vault, where
111.
were we? 111. Yeah, I was wondering why that one was just another air filtration drug one. Okay. No, that was reading backwards. 111.
Like cryo lab.
Cryo. If you played the game, you know that you go and you wake up and you see your son being stolen, and that is the whole beginning of Fallout 4. And then you wake up and you realize it's been 100 more years, and you still don't have your kid. And play Fallout 4 if you want to figure out what happens next.
Yeah, there's also, you can go back to that one, and if you have a high enough lock picking skill, you can get a unique weapon that's like a liquid nitrogen gun that freezes enemies.
Yep.
Which I never did because
I forgot about that. I'm gonna get that right after this episode.
I never did it because I didn't spec into lockpicking in Fallout 4. But I always knew what are all the unique weapons you can get? And one of them is like the cryolator or something.
Yeah,
and
you see it like you can. It's really noticeable when you first start the game. You just you can't grab it, right?
Yeah.
But
Next
I have
time,
master
maybe.
lockpicking and I have master hacking. So
easy peasy.
world is open to me.
I've been playing Skyrim. I don't have master lockpicking, but I never gave the skeleton key back, so.
Oh yeah, me neither.
I think everyone just holds on to that till they're done with it, basically.
It's so fucking
how you want
stupid.
to
I can't believe it. Yeah.
All right, so Vault 112. This is in Fallout 3. This is Smith Casey's garage in Virginia. That's where you can find it. It was intended to be only 85 occupants in a virtual reality world for.
Yeah, it's the metaverse one.
Okay,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Tranquility Lane simulation.
Yeah. And the vault was built to house and tend to the needs of its overseer, Dr. Mark Zuckerberg, or Stanislaus Braun, creator of the Garden of Eden creation kit, which is kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So within it, Braun installs virtual reality simulator and the Visiontron loungers, initially containing several simulated utopias, the last of which is the Tranquility Lane simulation. The system should have permitted a select few to live a perfect life, virtually, if not practically forever. But once they got into the virtual reality pods, Braun would take over their worlds, and they would become his playthings. So
This is that James Corden selling us all out to the Matrix vault that we talked about on the bonus, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to hear the James Corden selectively selling us out to the Matrix vaults and Fallout 4 lore, then subscribe to the Lore Boys Patreon.
It'll make a lot more sense.
Yeah. It would. So that he would torture people. He would put you in the peak of exam season, but it's during an Adderall shortage.
Yeah, I mean this is like main story in Fallout 3. You have to go to this vault, I think, to progress the story.
He's trapped your dad there, right, as a dog?
Or he had. Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah. So then you go into that and you have to beat him at his own game kind of thing. And it's like if you can outsmart him in the simulation, you fry his brain and he lets you go.
Yeah. And What he would do to most people who weren't as clever as you, the player character, is he would kill them, wipe their memory, resurrect them, and kill them again. So just
Okay, yeah.
fun
It's a real
stuff.
god complex, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Zuck wants to do in the metaverse, obviously. is
For sure.
disguise himself as a little girl in the 50s and then
Yeah.
run like a psychopath through a suburban town and kill all the people who bullied him in high school.
Yeah, he wants to pay people in the Philippines to be NPCs, and then he wants to
Oh yeah, that too.
He wants to make
hire people he knows from high school.
He wants to make a really popular amusement park. And then once he gets the population up near max, turn all the roller coasters into death traps.
Yes.
You guys did that too.
Tear down
right?
all the equipment. Yeah, tear down all the rides and then wall off the exit.
You get you use like the accelerating chain lift or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like it starts, and then you pause the game, and you just remove the track or whatever, so it just shoots off into space essentially.
Yeah, you just smash into a billboard who tells you who to vote for or whatever because it's Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like smash into a minion meme on a billboard that tells you who to vote for.
So that's Vault 112. There's only 2 left in the canon games. So that's Vault 114. This is Fallout
Yeah,
4.
so this is the one that I was talking about before.
The wealthy inhabitants would be stripped of luxury. Yeah.
It's like it's a pretty cool one. So like in the game, it's being used by like you rescue Nick Valentine, the synth pulp detective there.
Oh yeah.
In this vault, like this is the vault that you go and rescue him from, because like other like 1930s gangsters are like holding him up there.
Skinny
But yeah,
Malone's gang got him.
Yeah, Skinny Malone's calling
Skinny
him a
Malone.
mook or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you got like a lot of the terminals and a lot of the consoles like talk about, the vault experiments, and it's just like there's one, it's like, so it's all like high ranking dignitaries, like government officials, like people of power and people of like high society, I guess. And it's just like throwing them into, like I said, it's like the toilets are like separated by like just shower curtains, and it's like communal showers with no shower curtains or anything. And like everybody's like all the apartments are like single room, like the bathrooms in the kitchen, in the living room, in the bedroom, and like kind of thing.
Like a shitty dorm, basically.
Yeah, and there's some great holotapes that are like recorded where they're like interviewing for the overseer. So they're like specifically looking for somebody with like a strong anti-authority bias and like no experience in government to be the overseer of like all these politicians, essentially. So it's like there's people like interviewing, and it's like they're like clearly like really good candidates, and the interviewer just like keeps cutting the interview short, just like, no, I think we're good. We've got what we need. Thank you. It's like, oh, are you sure you don't want to see like my LSAT scores or whatever? Pretty funny little vault, I'd say.
They made another one in the last one that's in games that we're going to talk about is Vault 118, and that's from Fallout 4 Far Harbor.
Oh wait, can I read a quote from the 114 page?
Please, yeah, please.
So the overseer was chosen. I wasn't sure if you were actually going to talk about it a bit, or but you let me talk about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
So an overseer was chosen when the interview process dredged up a man known only as Soup Can Harry. He refused to provide his legal name, which he referred to as a rank and number branded by the government.
Oh, hell. Oh, he's a sovereign citizen, dude. Let's fucking go.
And believed the government used taxes to fund Illuminati Freemason sex parties.
They got the most pilled man on earth, and they made him the overseer?
Yeah. Soup Can was presumably homeless, as he implied that he slept in dumpsters. He also appears to have eaten Abraxo cleaner before, as he is recorded saying, "I seen the back of them Abraxo boxes. Not for consumption. Don't you tell me what to do. I'll eat what I want."
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh man, Soup Can Harry. That's so good. Especially now, like, I love how that's like, what is the craziest man that you could possibly have? Like, there are elected officials who are that crazy, like currently now, right?
The Rand Paul vote, right?
No, he's like a libertarian. I'm talking about like the straight up like Marjorie Taylor Greene's, like the actual Q-pilled lunatics, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's another one that's kind of similar to, instead of all wealthy inhabitants would have to live in poverty, it's a social experiment where they take 10 wealthy residents who live in luxury, while there's 300 who live in squalor, with the wealthy residents having total authority over everything.
Okay. They
Naturally.
made a regular society vault, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lower
Yeah,
class.
Like honestly, like it should be 10 to 3,000, or
Yeah.
like maybe 30,000 to make it like
Yeah.
actual real life. But
There we go, talking about the class divide again. Whoops.
yeah. Stop bringing it up. You don't want me to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's not to you guys. That's to video game. Right?
The
Yeah,
lower
yeah,
class section was never completed due to embezzlement of construction funds.
Oh, hell yeah.
Lovely.
And the inhabitants of the luxury section eventually transferred themselves into robo-brains to achieve immortality and to continue to occupy the vault. So when you get there, I guess there's 10 people living in robots.
I am looking forward to this DLC. I'll say so.
Far Harbor is really good because they took the criticism of Fallout 4 and then just fixed everything and released it as DLC. Like Far
Yes.
Harbor rules, and I do remember there was a murder mystery quest in that vault. It's
so
fantastic.
exciting. I love a good whodunit.
Yeah.
So looking onwards, this is pretty much all of the ones that are in the game. We're at almost an hour. I'm just kind of looking through to see if any of the ones outside of the game that are still in canon are fun to talk about. Oh, there's where's the one with the panther?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was it
You guys
that one
heard-
that's just like one furry porn artist and then and like one furry porn artist and 99 degenerates, and it's to see like what that has effect on like on his work schedule in the vault.
Exactly. I accidentally deleted the vault numbers, did I? Oh no, here they are. Okay. Yeah, so social experiment in Vault 43. This is not actually in the game, but it's in part of the comic, One Man in a Crate of Puppets. It's just
Yeah, it's the
reference.
Penny Arcade one, yeah.
Yeah. A social experiment where you put 20 men, 10 women, and a panther. So I wonder what happens there. We don't get to find out, but we get to imagine. There's one that's
I
just...
mean, 30 people could kill and eat a panther. Like, you maybe someone get
Probably.
killed, a couple of people get, like, probably pretty badly hurt, but ultimately you can take that fucking thing down. It's a big
Yeah.
cat, but, like...
Yeah.
Although you don't go at one at a time like it's Assassin's Creed, so the panther can just parry everyone and kill them instantly.
Yeah. Vault 53 was an interesting one. Really annoying. All of the equipment was designed to break down every few months. While you have everything to repair it, but it's just going to break every few months. So everything you fix, is just going to break down like very soon.
Okay, yeah. It's the Stew Pickles vault, basically,
Yeah.
from
The home
Rugrats.
ownership one. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a real adult living vault.
Let's see what else we got.
There's two vaults, 68 and 69.
69. I was just about to mention that one. Those are very good.
So 68 is 1,000 people in the vault, one woman. 69 is 1,000 people, one man.
Yep.
One of those is abjectly way more horrifying than the other.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
absolutely. One of those is a horror story, and one of those is like probably a thriving society.
Just the way that reproduction works. Unless
Oh, just the way that reproduction works, yeah.
well, just to have kids, right? Like it would one generation would be so easy with the one man, and as long as the man had everything he needed to imagine he couldn't get it up with 1,000 women.
Oh
watching.
yeah,
man.
so it's one man and 1,000 women in the vault, but there's no Gatorade for his refractory period or whatever. They all die within a year.
Yeah. The vault is designed that as soon as all of the women are gone and the man is left, then that's when the Cialis door opens up or whatever.
Yeah.
Just missed it.
The
Oh,
false
man.
ceiling collapses.
Yeah. As soon as
Like
all
little confetti cannon and like a good morning slogan.
Good morning, good morning. It's great to stay up late. Yeah.
Vault 70 is a social experiment in which jumpsuit extruders would fail after 6 months, drastically reducing clothing.
Oh yeah.
The majority of the inhabitants were members of local Mormon congregations.
That's got to be a New Vegas one because you do go to.
It's in Salt Lake City, that vault.
Yeah.
It's not in any game. It's from the Bible and Van Buren, which is a code name for
Canceled Fallout 3.
Canceled Fallout 3. Yeah.
You can acquire it legitimately online. In quotes, I've played Van Buren. It's just it's like 3D Fallout 2, so it's not sprite art anymore. It's all right.
Cool. If
There's
I ever
like
go through 1 and 2, maybe I'll try Van Buren.
Fallout Tactics is non-canon. It has like
There's a Fallout Tactics.
Yeah, I've played that. I have it on GOG. It's not great. I didn't like it, at least.
It's got 9 out of 10 on Steam.
Yeah, I wasn't down for it at the time.
it's non-canon for the world, but it yeah.
I love that I get the Steam. Are you old enough to view this? And it's just, of course I am. My birthday is the 1st of January, 1926.
Yeah, I always do that, man.
It's the
1910.
default that's in for me. So
Yeah. Yeah, there's one of the vaults from Fallout Tactics is Vault Zero. It's the command and control facility monitoring the vault experiments, and it's managed by the Calculator, which is an AI supercomputer using the brains of America's greatest geniuses as processors and personality templates. So every super genius in America, I guess, is like Futurama head in a jar plugged into a computer. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they've got my favorite DLC for New Vegas, which was Old World Blues. You go to Big Mountain, like the research facility, and like the primary characters are all like, there are 3 TV screens attached to like a brain in a box, which it's like 2 eyes and then just a mouth for some reason on there. And one of them, we brought it up. One of them is voiced by the same guy who voices Dr. Venture, and he's basically the same character as well from Venture Brothers.
very good, very good.
Yeah.
There's one Vault 42. No light bulbs more than 40 watts were provided. Sure.
That sounds all right.
Yeah.
It'd just be like slightly dimmer than what you're used to. I guess your eyes would just atrophy slightly. I don't know.
One that was meant for 1,000 people. They just put 2,000 in it. Vault 27. Why not?
Brutal.
It's just the Japanese metro system during rush hour vault. Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the for-profit prison vault.
Vault 77 we talked about last time. That's the one man with his crate of puppets, and at one point, like, he has the mayor of the vault, which is another puppet, gets killed, and they say that it was other puppets, and the vault boy puppet starts talking to him and being like, "You're the only one I can trust." He ends up leaving the vault at one point, and these slavers come by and they start laughing at him, and the slavers turn their back, and then he goes and kills that group of slavers and then their entire camp of slavers. So basically no one's gonna fuck with the man with the puppets anymore.
Yeah, he's like a Manchurian Candidate basically, but with puppets.
Yeah, that's Vault 77. It's a cool one that isn't in the game. That, like, it'd be cool to encounter the puppet man in the game sometime.
Yeah, it's in 3, but it's like it's completely unknown in 3 why the Raiders of Paradise Falls fear this guy so much. They do talk about like somebody who they fear, and there is like a group that's super scared of the guy from Vault 77, but it's like not established. But the comic was like official. It was like it was the co-created by the lead designer of Fallout 3. So
cool.
I might have to come back and play Fallout 3 because I didn't actually play it back in the day. I watched people play it.
I adore it.
Yeah. And you know what? I've been able to stomach New Vegas, so probably Fallout 3, same experience, right?
They look the same.
Gameplay wise, yeah, it's very, very similar.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no iron sights in 3, but you just use VATS for everything anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
There's fewer longer quests is the one thing that I've always preferred about Fallout 3. Is there's a very limited amount of content, but it's all very curated. Whereas like New Vegas and 4 have tons of shit to do, which is fine, right? But like I think there's like 40 quests in Fallout 3, and they're all great. Like I remember the one where you get a violin for an old lady.
Yeah.
13 years later.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna play Fallout 4 too, because I did buy the bundle of Skyrim and Fallout 4 or whatever. So I'll probably be after Ethan after I beat Skyrim. I'll just go on to Fallout 4. Last time I did an Agi build with it's just all VATS and like the underground railroad people with that one gun you get from them. I forget what their name is, but
the railroad they're called.
Oh, is it? And that's the people.
You get the silenced handgun, right?
Yeah, are those the robots have feelings to people, or are those?
Yeah, it's the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad or Secret Railroad. Underground Railroad?
Underground Railroad, yeah.
Where black people are robots?
Tunnel. Yeah, black people. Westworld.
In that, okay.
Yeah, it's a parallel to Harriet Tubman's like freeing the black slaves is freeing the synths trapped like enslaved by the Institute, right?
Right.
Is that the idea?
They have a
Over?
gun that is like really efficient on VATS or whatever.
Yeah.
So I remember building like a VATS build and going for that gun, and you could just shoot it like 10 times in VATS, so you'd like kill anything as it happened.
Yeah, I went a VATS build with like the luck tree, so like I'm heavy into luck.
Nice.
So there's like perks which let you like store criticals. So it's every time you hit something in VATS, you get like a little bit of like progress towards that.
Yeah.
So you can just store like right now I have like you can store 2 and then you can also fill your bar so you can have three criticals. So it's just like anytime you run to a hard enemy, it's just like spam 3 criticals. It's like they're definitely dead. You know?
Yeah. Nice. I did in Skyrim I'm playing through again. I just did the sneak archer build because I wanted something fast or whatever, but at the same time in Skyrim you can just use other stuff. Like I just got Volendrung that we talked about it in Elder Scrolls 6, right? That's the hammer that the Dwemer made that dropped for the Hammerfell. That's where Hammerfell.
Yeah, it was Volenfell originally, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I got that from Malakath and I've been using that. I have like 20 skill in two-hander. Still fun to go whack something with a fucking two-hander and see what's wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyways. I think
like
that's it
the
for
decapitation executions with blunt weapons in Skyrim because you just kind of like bonk their head off their body. It just like breaks off like a scarecrow.
Yeah.
Well, it breaks off like a VAT skill in Fallout, right? Like where
Yeah,
you
just
target
click
the head, and you get the VAT skill, and their head just like pops off, like boop,
Yeah.
like falls
Since
to the
I've
ground.
mostly been doing archery, I didn't get a lot of those, but I just went and did the Mages College or whatever in Winterhold. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I hit Encano for the last time, I knocked his head clean off, and everybody hates that guy, so it felt good.
Feels good.
Anyways,
Black Hole Stone.
That's Skyrim. A lot of good Bethesda games out there. They're still good even after all this time. But that's our episode for Fallout for now. If you want to find me, look in the Discord. It should be in the link. I've been doing the links lately, and I'm not sure if I'm doing properly. So someone who pays attention, like our Davids, our Darnells, our people who talk to us a lot.
Are you just copy and pasting mine? Because it should
work.
work.
And I'm not referring to other episodes. I should be doing that, but I haven't been.
Yeah. Well, what can you do? Can't all be as talented as me. To be fair, you do the edit, so
yeah,
it's a lot your links do. Yeah, your Discord link is fine. The link to the Discord is below.
All right,
check it out.
Cool. And Peter, where can we find you?
Discord at Lord Boys Podcast on Instagram. There is a link to our merch as well. You are free to check that out. I'm hoping to change stores, but
we sold a couple.
Haven't gotten an answer back. Yeah, and sold a couple hoodies. So thank you to it. Always is like anonymous bot. So whoever bought the hoodies, thank you very much. So at Lord Boys Podcast on Instagram, at Squared Idea for my comic. Other artists are getting stuff put up there as well. So if you're interested in my thing or you're not, and you might be interested in something else, Squared is putting up a lot of stuff these days. So check them out too. And yeah, that's it. I drop picture. That's me. Also pay us. Patreon link below.
Yeah, if you guys like the show, want to support it, you can do us a favor and tell your friends or post on Facebook about it, or post in your favorite Discord server to start spamming our show, our latest episodes. Tell people that you like it. We don't advertise at all, so the only way that the show grows is when you guys tell people about it. Basically, it doesn't really grow otherwise unless somebody happens to stumble across it on Spotify or something like that, like a lot of you did. And we appreciate you guys sticking around for it. If you want to support the show financially, we do have a Patreon. We'll read your names halfway through an episode after we realize we forgot. No problem.
Anytime, dude. Whenever you want.
Patreon.com/theloreboys for that. And we have a couple different tiers with a couple different options that give you access to a couple different things.
Radical.
Yeah, and of course, we also have Lore Boys Prime, which is pretty exciting. This week's Lore Boys Prime, we're giving out some lessons. So we're going to need you guys to study up. We are giving out unicycling lessons to teach you guys how to do that. We're not asking for much in payment. We need you guys to collect some bugs for us. We need you guys to go into the world, catch some lightning bugs, catch your
This is all
mosquito.
from the patron. So patrons, you'll understand this tomorrow. But
yeah, but it also ties back because we need these bugs because we're creating a vault. we'll have you guys know.
Nice.
And it's going to be the bug vault that Peter and I talked about. We figured the best way to get Bethesda's attention as writers in the Fallout series is to create a vault with a true to life psychosocial experiment going on inside of it, which is obviously going to be none of the bugs are going to be in containers at all in the actual vault. So everyone living in the vault is going to have to cohabitate with a lot of bugs, and they're going to be the people are going to be the primary source of food for the bugs. Where it's like, you're just going to have to give up some of your blood to mosquitoes like a couple times a week.
God, a week.
The mosquito population stays healthy.
But right? It's give and take because you can have a nice juicy worm later.
Whenever they drop dead of natural causes, we'll be baking them into high efficiency protein bars to feed back to the population essentially. So it really is like a beautiful self-contained circle of life.
Yeah,
we need some people to maintain the filthy bird bath in the middle of the vault too, so the mosquitoes can always breed too, right?
Yeah. And then we are going to have to instigate a nuclear apocalypse.
I would eat more bugs
to really get Bethesda's attention. So
I would eat more bugs if it was like something that was more readily available. I've had crickets and stuff before. They don't taste so bad. You put a little seasoning on them. They're crunchy like chips.
That's what the billionaires want to hear, Jamie. Don't say that shit.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's more sustainable than some other stuff,
That's exactly what the billionaires want to hear, Jamie. Don't say that shit. Bill Gates is fucking silkworm farms.
Eating billionaires is more sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're crunchy too.
They're dried up and soulless.
Yep.
I mean,
so yeah, if you guys want to get your unicycle lessons, comes with a free prescription of Adderall, of course,
and a jar of bugs
to help get you through the lessons, to help you with your homework, your unicorn lesson.
I can no joke help you learn to ride a unicycle if you need it, guys.
No joke.
Yeah.
None of these have ever been a joke, and this one is no exception. So.
Okay, you're right.
Send us a bottle of bugs at your earliest convenience, and I think that would constitute a Lore Boys out.
Goodbye.
Out.
Right society that they idolize, right?
Speaking of being in good shape, I was playing Skyrim yesterday, and I was sitting in this chair for a little while, and I like at one point I'm just like I'm not flexing my back, and I just kind of like went back a little bit, and a cough hit me out of nowhere. So and my back hurts now because I coughed when I wasn't flexing my back properly, and it just like too quickly flexed my back, and yeah.